Welcome to the Global Top 9 Extended Edition. Today we are going to cover the top silly ideas that made millions. Have you ever wished you made an invention that could change the world? Maybe you've thought of a unique invention idea only to find out that someone else had already made it, and now it's earning millions. Almost everyone in the world believes that they have an idea that is capable of turning them into a millionaire. But in truth, there are very few inventions that prove to be successful. For every creation or invention that turns out to be a hit, there are countless others that fail miserably. However, there are plenty of incredible simple inventions or seemingly obvious ideas that no one else had thought of that went on to make millions of dollars, making their creators fabulously wealthy for what seems like almost no work. If you aren't convinced, look at the following ridiculous and out-of-this-world ideas that made their inventors and investors filthy rich. So let's get started. Number 12. Yellow smiley face. Yellow smiley face is a plague that has spread all around the world. It is hard to go anywhere and not be able to see that huge grin, often accompanied by words, "Have a nice day," smirking back at you. The image was created by Charles Ball, and he was paid $45 for the rights to the image. Later, two brothers stumbled across that smiley face and realized it had a huge marketing potential. They went on to make more than $50 million from licensing the image out to companies and businesses to use on packaging and commercials. Number 11. Slinky. The Slinky is arguably one of the most famous toys in the world. For those living in the Western world, it is virtually impossible to not have encountered the spring-like toy at some point in your lives. The creator of the Slinky was a man by the name of Richard James. He was a mechanical engineer and was working to find a way to create springs that could keep certain types of ship equipment steady while at sea. He experienced a clumsy moment and accidentally knocked some of the samples off of the shelf. He looked at the spring walk away from their fall and knew he had something special. After showing at Gimbals, he was sold out of all his Slinkies, and they soon became a must-have toy, going to net James and his family around $250 million. Number 10. Magic 8 Ball. The Magic 8 Ball gives you answers. Ask the Magic 8 Ball and get all the answers on your questions. It's cool and fun to use. While the Magic 8 Ball obviously has no real psychic powers or abilities to tell the future, it is still a common item found in people's homes around Europe and in the United States. The toy was incredibly simple to create. It is essentially just a plastic ball filled with alcohol and a 20-sided die. It became immensely successful though, thanks to its low cost and the fact that it has appeared in so many films and TV shows as the way to make tough decisions. Today the 8 Ball is owned by Mattel, who claims to sell 1 million Magic 8 Balls every year. In 2011, Time magazine named the Magic 8 Ball as one of the all-time 100 greatest toys. Number 9. $1 Million Homepage. Alex Tew was able to earn almost exactly $1 million through a truly unique idea he had. The then 21-year-old student was looking to pay his way through university and came up with the idea of selling space on his website as advertisements. Each pixel on his page sold at $1, and when the site went viral, companies, businesses, and organizations all around the world jumped at the chance to have their name plastered on his site, netting Tew the full amount in just 1 year. Number 8. Beanie Babies. Teddy bears have been around for a long time. They are perfect toys for young children thanks to their cuddly nature and the fact that they can't really cause any harm. However, Ty Warner saw a chance to market a new type of teddy, where the creatures were stuffed with beans and were seen as collector items. Thanks to the fact they weren't sold in retail chains and that they were seen as prized possessions, Beanie Babies became a fad that has lasted for decades, making billions of dollars. Ty created limited edition animals and would retire specific animals at whim. This created scarcity in the market and inspired collectors to pay up to $5,000 for a plush toy that originally retailed for $5. In fact, certain retired characters were going for as much as $13,000 on the resale market, 3,000 times their original price. Beanie Babies were priced at $5 a pop, making them accessible enough for anyone to get on the trend. One way they were able to keep the cost down was by skipping the packaging. Number 7. Snuggie. The Snuggie is incredibly simple in nature, but it became a hugely popular item of clothing thanks to its funny advertising and celebrity endorsements. This buzz created an entire culture around the Snuggie that helped to reach cult status. The Snuggie commercial quickly went from parody fodder to pop culture phenomenon, appearing on Oprah, Ellen, and Today. The Snuggie also struck As Seen on TV gold 5 years after its first release. The Snuggie has sold over 30 million units and raked in over 50 million, according to Scott Boylan. No one really knows why the Snuggie became such a pop culture phenomenon, not even its creator. If I knew how the Snuggie became so successful, we'd have 15 more products like that, Boylan said. It just struck a chord at the right time. Number 6. Hula Hoop. The hula hoop is another fad toy that became a mega hit on the short amount of time before going out of fashion. However, in the 2 years that the toy was in demand, it sold more than 100 million units in stores worldwide, making its creators whammo millions of dollars. The idea for the incredibly simple toy came about when the designer saw children playing with hoops of bamboo, and they decided to recreate the bamboo with plastic. Number 5. Wacky Wall Walker. Ken Hakuta's mother deserves to be named as the person behind his success because, after all, she was the one who sent Hakuto the first ever Wacky Wall Walker as a gift from China. With his fascination for the toy, which seemed to walk down any wall it was thrown at, Hakuta decided to purchase the rights to it at $100,000 and started to market it in DC. The product's sales were not originally great until a Washington Post reporter saw the item and wrote about it in an article. The article generated buzz about the product and helped it become one of the best marketing fads of all time. In just a matter of months, over 240 million were sold, and Hakuta earned around $80 million. Number 4. Crocs. Although the Croc has become something of a mega success in the relative short lifespan, it was never meant to be a fashion item or piece of footwear to be used every day. Instead, it was developed as a plastic clog that could be worn to a spa thanks to its air holes. After the first showing of the item, the shoes sold out every pair, and their creators saw the potential to market Crocs as a more conventional piece of clothing. The company now rakes in around $1 billion every year. Number 3. PostIt Note. PostIt notes can be found all over offices and desks in major companies. They are essentially just small pieces of paper with mild glue attached to them so that they will stick to other items and materials. The idea came about while Dr. Spencer Silver was researching a new type of very strong glue, but accidentally created an adhesive that was capable of sticking securely but could easily be detached with a small amount of force. This led to the birth of a PostIt note, and it has since made more than $1 billion. Number 2. Doggles. Goggles or sunglasses for dogs may sound like a completely silly idea, but they do have some pretty practical uses. Not only can they help protect the animal's eyes from the sun, but they can also help stop dust and other materials from entering the eyes of the walking dogs, such as those working in the military in Afghanistan. This makes it all the more surprising that it was only relatively recently that they were invented, when Ronnie D. Lulo noticed her dog squinting in the bright sunlight. The eyewear has since grown to be incredibly popular and is now sold in more than 16 countries. Doggles has a revenue of over $69 million and 136 employees. And number 1. Pet Rocks. Gray Doll is the man responsible for creating a toy that went on to become a huge craze for a year, netting him almost $15 million in just 6 months. His creation was a pet rock, essentially a stone set up in some hay and delivered in a fancy box. It was marketed towards people who didn't have enough time or energy to look after a real living pet. Each rock sold for just $3.95, but made a huge profit on every one sold thanks to their low cost to make. That rounds up our list of the top silly ideas that made millions extended edition. Which idea did you think was the worst? Share your comments below. Please subscribe to our channel and smash that like button. We'll see you in the next video.